Okay, that's been waiting by Jessica My Boy, and we can't play too much of Jessica My Boy's song tonight, but I'll still play at least a song or two later because, as I said, we got special guests in the house tonight. But Johnson, would you like to introduce our guests in the house tonight? We got on our right hand side, who is this representing the Indonesian?
It's Gino Solo.
Gina Solo or Gina Awit? Gina Solo. But
Gina.
Awit. Actually, Awit means what? Artinya apa? Awit.
Abi.
Oh, Awit. Okay, still
Awit.
young.
Oh.
Yes, well done. Okay. And representing the Filipino overseas Filipino workers, OFW. What else? I forgot. Supposed to be you presenting. Okay. Well, let's just get straight to what we're going to be talking about today. I invited two of you to represent the non-residents in Macau in regards of the news that Macau will launch the new round of the e-consumers card. Okay. I know we're gonna get there. Okay. And so obviously we all know that this is for the Macau residents, but there was a talk. It wasn't really a plan, but it was a talk it in the previous e-consumers card that the non-residents might be included. Okay, if you remember. No, at that time it was on news. Okay, but it was a talk only, and it didn't actually take off the ground. Okay. And so here we are now. Again, the local residents are waiting for the next round of the e-consumers card. As much as I think most people would be happy about that. I think also it's interesting to listen to what you have to say representing the non-residents group in Macau. So how about we start, because we talked with Wujina just now in the same topic in Indonesian. How about we talk to Ate Els first? How long have you been in Macau for, Ate?
10 years.
10 years, okay.
Yeah.
And you've been working as a domestic
Yes.
worker, yeah?
Uh-huh.
So far, before we get into our topic today, has everything been going well for you? Like, I mean, your boss, your employers,
Maybe, or maybe I will transfer to another boss because my boss is resign.
Okay, resigning from the work.
Yeah.
Okay, so but like so far with that boss, everything was going well.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was no bad blood. Okay,
No.
so it was good, right? It was a good
Everything's
working
okay.
relationship. It's just because he is going to resign from his work, so I'm guessing he doesn't have capacity to continue hiring you, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he wants
yeah.
to he wants to let go. Okay, now let's get in here then. We all know that this announcement on Friday made it to the news already, and the reason why I invited you guys because it's very interesting. As I was looking at the posting of TDM News, there's some very radical comments in there. Well, basically, really just attacking the Macau people and Macau government, really, about the fact that all this is only for Macau residents. Let me just read a couple of the comments for you guys, okay? So just for background, and then you guys can tell me what you think. One of them say they only care their people, okay? And then one of them say this person particularly is very vocal. A couple of comments already. She said, I'm guessing she's from the Philippines, I think, because I looked up at her Facebook, okay? She says, well, Macau is a rich country but can't spare cents to the foreign workers since pandemic. I salute those countries not as rich as Macau, but they have a good heart for their foreign workers by appreciating the hard work that contributes a lot to their economic growth. Unlike here, they don't care about the foreign workers. You can have a say later if you agree, if you think that Macau don't care about the foreign workers, okay? And then she continues on. I think she was just kind of, trying to mock, She said, I salute Macau on never spare mercy to their foreign workers since pandemic. Truly, Macau has a very kind and understanding heart for all foreign workers, okay?
Yeah.
Now you can say out there, do you agree that Macau don't care about the foreign workers?
Well, for me, as a non-resident worker, um, honestly and with heart, um, what they call a black.
Okay, well, one by one, I'm gonna lead you. Okay, first of all, just plain, do you agree that Macau, we don't care about the foreign workers? Do you agree that we don't
It's
care?
different because that's the subsidy of the permanent resident. While us is only a worker here. So
So are you saying that it doesn't mean that Macau don't care about the foreign
of
workers?
course, because we're non-resident workers, so only for, of course, they're thinking about for the permanent.
Yeah.
While I'm
Would the Philippines do the same thing? They would prioritize the Filipinos first?
yes.
Okay. Well, there is
Of course.
another comment that says, well, do the Filipino government give benefits to the Chinese people working in the Philippines? And then the same lady actually said, yes, you didn't read the news. So let me just be clear. Since you're Filipino, is it really true the Filipino government has given maybe money to the Chinese workers there in the Philippines?
As long as you are the Philippine resident, of course.
No,
But if you
they
are
are
not,
they are non-resident workers
no,
also.
no, of course
All right.
not.
Yeah, that's what I guessed. I think this person also just kind of do a hearsay. Okay. But despite the fact that I think this person is taking it a step too radical. Would you actually wish that you would get it something though at least?
Yeah. How I wish,
Yeah.
and how we wish also. For example, giving us consideration. For example, giving us 100 or 200 bus card,
Yeah.
or maybe only 500.
Well, that's what we talked about with Bujina, right? Because even if it's a little thing,
Yeah.
what you get, you
We
will be happy
appreciate,
anyway,
yeah.
right? But is it a must?
Of course not. Yeah.
So you just wish it would be great
Yeah.
if you get, right?
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think if there's like a little benefit like that as well, what me and Pat Johnson talked last year actually, I think if we ever do that, for the foreign workers here, I think it will improve your work also.
Yeah.
Because happy people will work better, right? But I think you are right. I think, and I'm not saying because I'm a local resident. I think wherever you are, if you're not really local, you don't have a right or say. And I think there's this one. I just found out this is not Filipino actually, Bujina. This is Indonesian who says they only care about their people. This is Indonesian. I just checked it. Okay, man, you're embarrassing me. I'm Indonesian. This is not fair because if Macau only care about their people, it means just the local Chinese. Okay, I do have Chinese blood, but I'm half Filipino and half Indonesian Chinese. Okay, and I'm holding Indonesian passport. And I don't think this kind of statement is fair to say that they only care about their people, because obviously I'm not really Macau people. Okay, yes, I'm a local resident, but I don't even speak the language very well. Yet the government here in Macau, they're taking care of my family. Okay, foreigners living in Macau. Why? Simple, because like what you said, we hold Macau ID, and it wasn't just an easy thing to get. Okay, it took a lot of process, so that we could actually become a resident here. So. But I do understand though. I do understand. Bujina also mentioned just now. Yeah, maybe you can mention a little bit in English. Do you also wish to get? You do. You can say in Indonesian. I will translate. Jadi pengennya tadi yang tadi tuh. Jawab. Kenapa pengennya dapat?
Pinginnya ya kalau minta dibantu pinginnya, tapi kita tidak berharap terlalu berlebih gitu, nggak mengharuskan gitu.
Yeah.
Kalau kita dibantu, ya bersyukur tadi.
Yeah.
Puji
So
Tuhan,
Gina
gitu.
is saying that of course she would love to get something like what Al said, yeah. But it's not a must. It should not be a must.
Yeah.
If we get something, then that's good. But even if we don't get it, then we're supposed to have a big heart. Okay, again back to the reason because they are here on status as a worker also, and so this posting by TDM, interestingly enough, created a fight. First of all, of course, some locals then started attacking them as well, saying that if you don't like working here in Macau, then you better go home. So I think this is very sad, right? Because also, I just want to make it clear that this doesn't represent all locals here in Macau, okay? I don't hold that kind of view. Although, yes, the very basic principle is true. At any nation, any city, any jurisdiction, if you don't cope with the local regulation, then of course you are free to return to wherever you come from, right? But I don't hold this point of view of, if you don't like it, you might as well, we kick you out. No, it's not like that. Especially I'm also a foreigner living in a foreign land, of a land that has adopted me, which I'm grateful about, okay? But so this is very sad because then they start, fighting, and I think, comments like this eventually would also affect you guys, and unfortunately, some people out there might probably become disappointed and bitter, and eventually hatred would probably start taking place towards some particular groups of people in the city, namely, of course, Filipino, Indonesian, one of them. So, what do you think about this? Do you think, do you have any concern at all about these kind of very radical comments from your fellow countrymen and countrywomen, orang-orang dari negara Bujina yang bikin komen yang rada-rada radikal seperti ini? Apakah ada kecemasan, takut nanti kita akan ditreat gak baik jadinya malahan? Do you have any concern maybe because of this later we are all seen the same, like ungrateful, so to say?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I read also all the comments, but there's afraid of us. What if all the non-resident worker not given us opportunity to work here, and then I cannot control also the comments. Rather to send message for them. Please don't. Say anything bad.
So you actually try to do that also?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
really? Have you ever got into a fight because of that?
Many times, but since I'm attending in job, I just control myself.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Well, it's true. I mean, there's always repercussion with this kind of thing, right? But don't you worry, like, I don't think Macau government is that shallow, okay? And let's see the fact Macau needs you guys, okay? That's why I said we appreciate you, we value you, but I think there's also some boundary there. There's a line, ada batasnya tentunya, seberapa banyak kita kota ini bisa membantu gitu ya. Tapi kita tetap menghargai, we still value you, we still very much appreciate your contribution obviously to the city also, Bagaimana dengan Bu Gina? Ada kecemasan nanti siapa tahu ntar dikiranya kita semua sama gitu loh.
Iya, pastinya pasti. Bangsa gitu. Pastinya kita juga merasa khawatir, merasa takutnya kenapa nanti dampaknya terimbas ke kita.
Betul.
Yeah.
So Gina also raises some concerns because maybe then all the Indonesians or the Filipinos would be seen the same. Maybe they will be seen as being ungrateful and everything, So let me just clarify this to my listeners out there. If you're listening, not all Indonesians and all Filipinos and not all migrant workers, regardless wherever they're from, think the same with these people who make some comments. Some of them are actually quite irresponsible. Not all the same, okay? Although, let me be clear also though, as local residents, I think we also need to think more about them as well because they do contribute a lot, yeah? Given the consideration that obviously we have to understand that the Macau government obviously has to think the best for the residents first and of course the rest, okay? Like I mentioned to Gina ATLs just now, well, if of course living in an ideal and probably not real world, we would love to see everybody else get everything, but at the end of the day maybe this would lead Macau to a collapse, and if it collapses, then we're not gonna have. You just heard the news. A casino just will close down, and that will be first in history. Come on, So, and if things get worse, then we just kind of like throw all the money out there. That's why, for me personally, even when the government decided not to give the e-consumer card anymore, me and Pa Johnson, we kind of agreed, because it's like we just learn to trust. I mean, we're not running the city, the government is. So let's just learn to trust, okay, especially during this pandemic time. Because at the end of the day, if we keep on throwing all this money and suddenly Macau collapse, then it's the same thing, right? Because then the local people will lose the jobs, local people will not have money. Then eventually, if we don't have money, we don't have the capacity to keep on hiring you guys, and you're gonna have to go back anyway, right? So I think it takes two to tango, So that's why a couple of these, even though I can understand your wish, it'd be great to have, but a couple of these comments, I think they're being unfair, and which is why I'm not surprised that a couple of them got into a fight. Just now I mentioned with local residents, but even furthermore, they got into a fight with fellow countrymen. Like what you said, getting into an argument, and a lot of them also, they started attacking one another, which is why I said it's very interesting. One person actually said here, this is in Tagalog, okay, it said labasan agad mga toxic na Pinoy. I'm gonna translate now into English. I hope they have it. Yes, they do. They said, get out immediately, toxic Filipinos. Ha ha ha, you are toxic. I can understand this guy's frustration, because I think he's also scared, like, then all Filipinos will be seen the same, and another person actually say, let me see here,
a lot of Filipinos, right?
no, not the majority, unfortunately, at else, but I'm clarifying here, not all Filipinos are the same, guys. If you're listening to me, not all Filipinos are the same, and the Indonesians just the same as well, not all, okay? I think this is just a couple of people, actually, just a couple of disgruntled people. And there's this guy saying, I think he's got a really good comment. He said, why blue card holders here are always commenting toxic comments? He's basically saying what you said, Ate. He said, we are not residents to have the same benefits of their citizens. Macau is already Macau when we arrived here. So the rules and regulations have remained, okay? And even if the rules and regulations evolve, they must evolve to best suit the Macau people first, and we must, he said, we must be thankful they give us jobs to feed our family.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. But also there's one very interesting comment, which I think would be great if this happens also. She said like this, actually, even we don't need the blue card to have these benefits, money or whatever, And she said, but we just want to have a vacation in our country to meet and hug our family and come back for work, as long as we have work and employer here. So basically she's saying we don't really need this, but if you can just open the border and then allow us to come back again for the same work, I think this is great also, Well, of course, once again, we need to get back to reality as well. We need to really be careful. Macau is very small, we need to make sure that whatever that is decided, okay, will not impact negatively. And that's not just talking about economy, but also talking about health, obviously, okay? Because imagine if Hong Kong could go like wildfire, imagine Macau is much smaller and we have less hospitals as well, okay? But of course, I agree with this lady. I think it'd be great if we can start traveling, but let's wait. That's why, come on, push the people around us to get vaccinated as soon as possible, okay? But bottom line, before we end it, because I need to play my last song for tonight, just maybe give last comments, mungkin kasih masukan terakhir ya untuk teman-teman BNI to our overseas Filipino workers, OFW, in terms of like, how they should bring themselves here in Macau while working in Macau, dengan bagaimana mereka harusnya membawa diri mereka selama ada di Macau, di negara orang. Maybe we can start with Bu Gina in Indonesia.
Saya atas nama pribadi dan saya buat teman-teman ya, mari kita semua teman-teman yang ada di sini, buat kita untuk saat ini cukup kita bekerja dengan baik, taati peraturan yang ada di Macau, pemerintah Macau terutama nggih, dan jaga kesehatan kita semua yang ada di sini.
So Gina is saying that all of us who are working here, let us submit to the local rules and regulation and respect them, and then work well and also take care of our health. Okay. How about other else?
Just enjoy our life, even though we cannot go home or take a vacation. Just
Or
enjoy
maybe
life.
cannot get benefit.
Or maybe soon.
Or maybe you never know.
Just
Never
a gift
know.
certificate 100. Oh.
That's right. That's an idea.
Yeah,
That's an
yeah.
idea. So maybe some people are listening right now. That could be a great idea. 100. We have, I don't know how many migrant workers we have in Macau. I'm gonna have to check again. But 100 maybe not bad, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, though, even if you don't get anything and you just still keep your work here.
As long as we have work.
Yeah, I think
that's
that's
a big
something
thing.
to be grateful about, right? Of course, it's not ideal, but I think living in this pandemic time, nothing is ideal. Is it ideal that we stay here in Macau and we don't go anywhere? Not only for you guys, even us. Yes, we live here in Macau. This is our home, but we also have some relatives, family. My brother is still living in Japan. I'm not saying that he's stuck, because once again, we have been fortunate. We all have work, and my brother's got a job in Japan, and I've still got a brother in Bali. So but still, it'd be greater to be able to meet one another again, right? But we don't live in ideal world at the moment. The world is definitely not ideal at the moment, and we just have to face it, and we have to go through with it. Still, having said that, however, I'm really hoping that there will be more benefits from this city for you guys, as whatever it is. I don't know, maybe even an extra holiday.
Wow.
Right, extra holiday even, right? Maybe an extra 3, 4, 5 days off from the government. You must give extra holidays to all the foreign workers. That's not bad,
even
right?
from the boss.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If the Macau, the city itself, is imposing that rules, then the boss will have to do it, right? So whatever it is, I'm really just hoping for the best for you guys. But again, regardless, the least that I could really wish for is that you will get to keep your work in the city, so that you can still earn for your family back home. Okay. And for the rest of you, once again, please, if you see all these comments, quite nasty, I have to say, just don't look at these comments and think that all of them think the same way. Okay. But also, if you look at this kind of news, also open your eyes, maybe make some noise, and maybe we can appreciate more of their contribution. Maybe it's not in the form of benefits that we receive as well, but maybe it starts with us treating them better. If they don't get the benefit cuts like us, this is my challenge to you guys. Why don't you and me together, we use our card, and let's shut them, take them out for dinner, take them out for lunch and everything else. Okay. Well, other else, and Bujina, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope you're going to be able to be back again with us later. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and for the rest of you guys, I'm going to play you guys my last song for tonight, from Jessica Marboy featuring Ludacris. This is Saturday Night. I'll see you guys again next week.